What's up, y'all? Alex Miller from The Eagle. We're here at the Eagles High School Football Media Day. I'm with Stoney Pryor, head coach of the College Station Cougars. Coach, it's good to see you.
It's great to see you too, Alex. Glad to be here today.
You know, when we're talking, not about food, but about football, it means the season is close.
It's exciting.
So what's just kind of maybe your hope and goal and expectation for this year's Cougar team going into the season?
You know, I think I always obviously want to be playing in December, want to win in Dallas at the end of the year. But what I really like to see is growth through our season. You know, I want us to peak in our last game playing really well. Of course, I'd like us to be pretty good at the beginning of the year, so that path starts in a good spot. But I don't want to peak in the middle of the season. I don't want it to get mundane. But I love to see our guys pushing forward, our coaches pushing forward, achieving new things, and being better and better as a unit.
Lots of new faces to this year's team for you guys.
Most definitely.
Where have you seen the biggest growth in your team collectively this offseason?
You know, I think on the offensive side of the ball, the last few years we've had a very consistent group of skill players. So we had a lot of guys graduate last year who had spent 2 and 3 years on the varsity, which means a lot of talent graduated, but also some of the natural leadership, some of the vocal leadership, but also just the implied leadership of those guys with the different roles that they filled. And so what I've seen through our spring and summer work is some of the newer faces to varsity, and even some of the returning varsity guys, be able to expand their leadership and their influence on the kids around them a little bit more.
You know, a couple of key position battles for you guys. Just how's that quarterback battle shaping up, first of all, with a couple guys that y'all have there?
Yeah, I think it's going great from my perspective. These guys battle. I think anytime you can compete with somebody or another team even, that pushes both of you to a higher level. I think a rivalry game is like that, when you're fairly evenly matched and you can sharpen one another. I think with a position battle, it's the very same thing. These guys, they get along great, but they battle well, and the Cougs come out on top because they both do things pretty well and have the ability to lead our offense, and that's going to, in the long run, really pay off well for us.
I guess just along those lines, have you named a starting quarterback, and if so, when do you have an idea of when you want to have a starting quarterback kind of in line?
So I think it's kind of a no and no.
Okay.
to succinctly answer your question, we haven't named one because there's competition going on.
Sure.
And really, because the competition is good, that's going to be a continual battle.
Sure.
So certainly on game one, somebody's going to jog out there and be the first guy to take the first snap. But I don't think that the quarterbacks themselves, the team, or just people observing should take that as this guy's now going to get the lion's share of what's going to happen, because they compete well. And so there could be a different team that runs a different defense, that we need to do things differently on offense that the other guy is able to execute better. Okay, that's the way it is. What we have seen in the spring and in the summer is that they complement each other really well. And if one of them isn't doing as well, the other guy is ready to go. And so I think that's possible. We can see that in the fall as well.
How about at running back? Who are some of the guys that y'all are hoping you can count on this fall? I know the Cougars like to run the ball quite a bit if they can.
So we moved Trey Walton in from a receiver position into the backfield. He's done really well. We have a couple of seniors, Mikey Turner, Jackson Gallagher's playing back there. Those guys understand what we have in the backfield. They understand our scheme, and they're all solid workhorses who give a little bit different look when they're in the game. We've got a couple other guys that have been working back there as running back, some full-time and some part-time. And you know, I'm very comfortable. I coach the running backs, and I'm very comfortable doing that by committee as well. More so than the quarterback position. You don't see it there. You may see it with series, but as a running back coach, I think fresh legs are really, really important. Those guys are taking a beating, and running guys through there puts a different kind of strain on the defense.
How much does it help that y'all have a veteran offensive line coming into this season with some new faces at running back and a new face as your starting quarterback?
Yeah, I think the offensive line is the most important part of your success as an offense. Certainly you want to have a talented skill guys, quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, but if the offensive line can't block people, then the best you can hope for is a quarterback that can scramble and get away from them. So I think it all starts with the O-line. Those guys, we do have some experience there, and they work really well together, and our coaches do a great job with building that group as a group, because probably more than any other multi-person group on the team, the offensive line has got to work as a unit, not as 5 individuals, and they do a great job.
How about on the defense? I know you're an offensive guy, but you are the head coach now. So
and we have to go against those guys every day in practice. So
we're going to see the strength of your defense.
Our defensive front is really good. Our defensive line is very solid. We have a number of guys that have a lot of experience there and are strong and quick and really will put pressure on backfields, on quarterbacks, and just on offensive lines, because they are able to move. We've been a little more versatile with what we've done in the spring with playing a 3-man front or a 4-man front, dropping a different guy down in there. And our linebackers right behind them are very active and very capable of filling that empty gap. So I think our front is solid. In the secondary, we have some guys returning. We had some graduates there in the secondary as well, so they'll kind of be put to the test. But boy, it's a lot easier on a secondary when the D-line is putting pressure on the quarterback and causing him to flush or making a quicker pass than he wanted to.
What's kind of your outlook for your district and the rest of your schedule as well?
I think certainly we want to compete for a district title, but ultimately we want to be competing well at the end of the season to have a good, strong playoff run. And I think it's reasonable to think that we could be towards the top of the district. Consol's obviously a really good team, and they'll be competing as well. We play Austin Anderson early. They're a very solid performer. Weiss is at the end of our season. They're really good. And then we've got some new coaches. Hendrickson's good. We've got a couple of new coaches in those other schools, and we'll see how they shape out with their teams. But I think it'll be another exciting year of football.
Well, what do you think it's going to take for this year's Cougar team to achieve what you guys hope you're capable of accomplishing?
I think that not taking stuff for granted is a big deal. We have a standard and a culture where we've been successful, and on the one hand, that's great. I think that's a great thing to build from for a culture, but it's important to remember that nothing's automatic. We will get far in the playoffs if we win games that we need to win. If we just assume we're going to win them, or we say, well, that's what the Cougars do, that doesn't work. It's got to match up with our devotion, our dedication, our work ethic, our understanding, and our execution of what we're going to do. And so, again, we have a 1-0 mentality, and I think that's really important from year to year, as well as from game to game or play to play, is that this team, regardless of what we've done in the past, this team has to execute when it's time to execute, and they have to prepare so that they can execute if we're going to be able to achieve what we're going to do. I also think with any team, especially when we have some new folks in leadership positions, understanding that it's a team sport. It's not a me sport. Yeah, we need some guys that can really do great things, but you don't win a game, much less a district or a season, with a guy. You have to do it with a team of guys who are unified in how we're going to go forth. And so building that unity and that camaraderie is a big piece of it.
Well, Coach, we always appreciate the insight. That's Stoney Pryor, head coach of the College Station Cougars. Be sure to check theeagle.com for all of our preseason coverage of high school football here in the Brazos Valley. We'll see you next time.